All right, players. So it's time for another riveting episode of Who Paid the Right Price for Clarence and Ginni. I declare, honey, what a disgrace. But quite frankly, that's what it feels like right now. Who paid the right price for Clarence and Ginni? And today's contestant is coming straight from the bowels of the Frumpy Dump administration, honey. Kellyanne Conway. I declare, what a disgrace. So according to an exclusive by the Washington Post, a judicial activist directed Kellyanne Conway to build their nonprofit and then use that money to pay Supreme Court Justice Clarence Thomas's wife, Ginni Thomas. And not only did he instruct Kellyanne Conway to pay Ginni Thomas, but he specifically asked that Ginni's name be left off the billing paperwork. So according to the Washington Post, in January of 2012, Leo instructed Kellyanne Conway to build a nonprofit group he advises and use the money to pay Ginni Thomas. That same year, his nonprofit, the Judicial Education Project, filed a brief to the Supreme Court in a landmark voting rights case. According to them, he told Kellyanne Conway he wanted her to give Ginni Thomas another $25,000. He emphasized that the paperwork should have no mention of Ginni, of course. On that same day, Kellyanne Conway's firm, the polling company, sent the Judicial Education Project a $25,000 invoice. And then they listed the reason as supplement for Constitution polling and opinion consulting. So Kellyanne Conway's firm funneled that $25,000 straight on over to Ginni Thomas's firm, Liberty Consulting. According to the documents, Kellyanne's firm sent Ginni Thomas's firm $80,000 between June 2011 and June 2012, and expected to pay $20,000 more before the end of 2012. So Leo is a leader of the Federalist Society, and he is friends with the Thomases. He issued a statement saying, in part, it's no secret that Ginni Thomas has a long history of working on issues within the conservative movement, and part of that work had involved gouging public attitudes and sentiment. The work she did here did not involve anything connected with the court's business. He also said, knowing how disrespectful, malicious, and gossipy people can be, I have always tried to protect the privacy of Justice Thomas and Ginni. Now, as far as Kellyanne Conway funneling money, she crawled out of that hole and said this on 4 News.
Leonard Leo is quoted in that article. I think it's an important quote. He says, I've known the Thomases, they've been my friends since 1990, and I'm very mindful of how vicious and gossipy people can be, so I always try to protect their privacy and their safety. Viciousness from 10 years ago, 11 years ago, has turned into violence now, where people are outside of Supreme Court justices' homes trying to assassinate Justice Kavanaugh while his wife and daughters are sleeping in that home. So these people will stop at nothing. They want Clarence Thomas to resign so Joe Biden, of all people, can replace him with one of his own. In this case, Ginni Thomas was one of my contractors, and she had worked at the Heritage Foundation. She was part of the grassroots, is part of the grassroots. She had worked in the Reagan administration. This is a serious person who for years had worked in public policy. And at the polling company, we did public opinion research and data analytics. We had no business before the court.
Now, legal experts say that Clarence Thomas should have recused himself from the case that was pending before the court. Clarence Thomas failed to do so. Why do you think that is? Players, put your thoughts in the comments.